Within the context of the Flagship B2 project, decision support was defined as the use of technology to aid and enhance the decision-making process of seafarers. A particular focus was upon bridge watchkeepers and the pressure of making decisions in emergency situations. When faced with multiple alarms in an emergency situation, the seafarer is faced with a challenging task in terms of interpreting what these alarms mean, assessing which ones might be related, prioritising, and then taking the most effective course of action. Project B2 aimed to help develop new concepts which could be introduced to aid this decision-making process, saving time and money and also decreasing the likelihood of accident or injury as the result of incorrect decisions being made. In the first phase of the project, decision support concepts were developed and incorporated into a demonstrator which is shown here. The demonstrator allowed users to compare the presentation of alarm information in a traditional alarm panel alongside the new flagship design. The emphasis at this stage was on demonstrating new alarm presentation concepts, free from constraints of current design standards and regulations. The alarm panel being shown is a mock-up of something typically found on board ship. Alarms appear on screen in order of activation, with basic information regarding what each alarm relates to. The user is able to acknowledge alarms, but no indication is given as to whether there might be any connection between the alarms that are shown. In this second alarm panel, a number of new features are introduced aimed to help the decision-making process. A visual schematic of the ship is shown against each alarm to give a quick indication of where the fault might lie. Alarms are also given a prioritisation number to help with assessing which alarm to act upon first. A help menu is included alongside each alarm to give a list of response actions to take. These can be ticked off so other members of crew know what actions have been taken already. The log button is another means of tracking in detail what actions have been taken in response to the alarm and by which crew members. The cluster button gives an indication of which alarms might be related to this alarm, and again gives a list of potential courses of action to take in relation to this cluster. Finally, all alarms can be acknowledged, a standard feature on alarm panels. A survey was conducted to find out which of the new decision support features seafarers considered most valuable. The cluster feature in particular was something that the seafarer respondents considered potentially valuable. This was therefore developed as the central feature of the second decision support system design. Whilst alarm clustering was highlighted by seafarers as the decision support feature of potentially most value, it was considered important to assess the performance enhancement this feature might offer. An experiment was therefore designed in which seafaring cadets were asked to make judgments concerning the root cause of a number of alarms on a panel. In each case, cadets were presented with a typical alarm panel and asked to choose between 1 or 4 possible faults that might account for the pattern of alarms shown. This decision was aided by alarm clustering information in half of the trials. The results of the experiment showed alarm clustering to enhance the cadets' performance on the task, with a greater percentage of correct answers when alarm clustering information was presented to support their decision. Whilst the original decision support demonstrator incorporated a number of new design features, the priority for the final concept was on showing more realistically how the new features might be embedded within an existing alarm panel. In particular, attention was paid to the best way of presenting alarm clustering information. In this final design, clicking on an alarm highlights other alarms which might be related to this, indicated by a coloured green dot in the cluster column marked C. This method of showing clustering information has the advantage that all alarms remain on screen at any time. Help information is again incorporated with a checklist of actions to take in response to the alarm highlighted. Finally, a weakness highlighted by respondents in the original survey was that alarms may be related to more than one cause or more than one cluster. This design therefore includes the option of clicking on the cluster button to scroll through other possible alarm clusterings that may exist. Other software components were developed in Flagship B2 that allow alarm system designers to work in an offline mode to define the alarms that are seen when online. Extended tables in the database can now include cluster, sequence and remedy information. Sets of alarms are defined for each piece of equipment and are allocated to a particular vessel. These offline tools are incorporated into a ship-wide enterprise system. Project B2 in Flagship highlighted new concepts in decision support which could be taken forward to improve current alarm presentation systems. In particular, the concept of alarm clustering is one which shows potential promise and may be of significant value to seafarers on board vessels of the future.